Well, guys, I've been meaning to talk about this all week, but I had to do some investigating first to make sure what I'm saying is right, or likely to be right anyway. But as I've covered before many times on this channel, our children are obviously in grave danger, have been for a while, and the dangers just keep on coming. This most of you already know, and let's be honest, so do the powers that be. In fact, they know it so well that they do their best to sweep it under the rug whenever they can, even when 130,000 people demand answers for something. Now, of course, we can't always directly blame this government for some of the more publicised cases that happened say 10 years ago, but ones that happen these days we certainly can. Especially when the current government's failure to honour its manifesto pledge possibly caused this situation we've got here. I can say that because if our government had taken back control of the borders like people wanted, we might not be talking about some alleged dirty fuckpig and his young victim today, because I've got it from multiple local sources that this hotel is full of recent imports through Dover, all paid for by you, of course. Now obviously most of the blame stays with the person committing the act, but in my mind governments are also responsible for shit that they literally could have prevented. Now obviously I'm not stupid, I know you can't stop every crime, but when the criminal possibly enters the country thanks to piss poor government policy, then it could have been stopped. Tell me I'm wrong on that one if you can. Now if it turns out that this is one of the recent imports, it's even more of a travesty because they're literally using your tax money to put him up in this hotel where he's then gone on to commit the crime. Yes, apparently your tax money's being spent on giving dirty nonce-cunts a place to violate children. Sickening shit really, but for this clown country it's not really surprising. Now like I said, apparently this hotel up in Liverpool is absolutely filled to the brim with imported boat wankers and is being run by the Britannia Company or something. They actually seem to be housing illegal immigrants up and down the country for Serco and indeed our government, making a fair old amount of dough in the process, no doubt. In fact, I think we actually need a list of all hotel companies facilitating the government's illegal immigrant importation scheme so the public can see who's taking part in all of this and where their money's going. The public have a right to know if you ask me, especially if some of the imports are doing this. Now what I also want to point out is on the same day as this report actually came out, the mainstream immigrant-loving media was within hours pumping out story after story relating to how terrible illegal immigrant food and conditions are at these hotels. Is that there a bit of damage control for the story relating to what we're talking about here, or is it just a coincidence? It seems pretty fucking suspect to me though, I don't know about you lot. In fact, let me know in the comments if you think I'm right there, because it certainly seems very suspect to me. But on the 3rd of November we had this in the Liverpool Echo, and like I said, we had all the other ones about the food going off everywhere else, and of course the Liverpool Echo too. It says, man arrested in Britannia Hotel on suspicion of sexual activity with a child. A 34-year-old has been arrested, it says. Merseyside police received a report of sexual offences and officers today, Wednesday, November the 3rd, made an arrest at Scarris Brick Hotel on Lord Street in Southport. A 34-year-old man has been held on suspicion of sexual activity with a child. He remains in custody with inquiries ongoing. The investigation is in the very early stages, it's said. And obviously just the rest of it down below is literally copy and pasting the same shit that they've said above. The statement from the Merseyside police is literally just that what I read to you. This is why I had to take a few days and ask around people that actually live up there as to what's going on, who's at this hotel and things like that. But it certainly appears that the person is likely to have jumped off the most recent boat coming in from Dover and has been plonked up there. He could well have been up there for a few months at this point, we just don't know. And like I said, when you stick it with the fact that people are moaning about food in Liverpool hotels, it would certainly suggest that they are in there, and people who literally live nearby have walked past and seen them outside and told me this themselves. So I would say there is a high probability that this is one of the recent arrivals through Dover who've been put up there thanks to Serco, our government, and of course any hotel company that lets them stay there. Obviously I'll keep an eye out, and so will the people who sent me this story and the information afterwards, to see what actually happens, if we ever get told that is. Much like the grooming gang shit that I mentioned at the start of this video, the government powers that be and the rest of them are always trying to cover it up. You hear about it here with some piss poor article, then you don't hear another thing about it, whether they went down or not, which the chances are they probably bloody didn't. But guys, before I go, remember to check out my website, BitChute, Odyssey, Rumble, and all the rest of them that are linked down below. Share this video around because at this point YouTube don't seem to be doing it anymore. I'm on the naughty step, as you know.